Yeah. Deep sea. Like it's charging between there. You can use any AI, no problem. Voice not clear. Let me change the options.
I think now it is fine. Okay, so guys, so let's deploy a project. So this project architecture we discussed, right? Okay. Observe carefully what I'm doing here. I will take only public servers now. Okay. I'm not going to deploy my project for load balancers, auto scaling groups, and etc. etc. Simply what I can do. First, we can focus on the deployment process as per the application. In this case, I'm taking directly public servers. Private servers means you have to be create a bash host, NAT gateway, a lot of things are there, right? So I'm directly taking public server for project explanation. Okay, let's take this process first. Primary region. For primary region, so I'm taking one public server, second public server, database. Clear? So front end will be communicate to back end will be communicate to database. This is the process. Okay. So I'm not focusing on now scaling technologies, high availability and all. High availability means what? Create auto scaling group for that only. Okay. Uh, First I need what? RDS, right or not? Database I'm going to be create. So I'm creating manually. So later we can focus Terraform also soon. So there we can create again these resources through Terraform, like public subnet, private subnet. Again, you may again focus. Hmm. My end already database is there. Anyway, I'm going to create a my database separately. MySQL I'm creating. Free tier. So DB identifier, database 2, one is already there. Password I'm giving here. Okay. So all are keep as is. If required, public access enable so that we can externally we can access the records and all. And security group existing you can default and all are fine. Create a database. Okay. Database 2 is creating now. So, and then if you open this, I have shared here. Just click on this. Okay, maybe. Okay, this project I'm taking Ubuntu servers. So Ubuntu servers. I'm testing for public servers means public subnets are required, right? Okay, default network public subnets also there. We no need to worry. And what I need to do now? Create a servers, 2 servers. One is for public, one is for private. Front end. My packages are for Ubuntu, so I'm taking Ubuntu. Focus first. I'll tell you. Ubuntu is C2. I'm just taking to creating a front end. And I need a backend server also, right? So let's create a backend also. Let's create a backend server also. Okay. I will show you how to do the project. From now, from today onwards, you need to implement more things. Understand? How to do this, how to enable scaling, that your responsibility. Okay. How to create a multiple server. I mean, how to redirect request through load balancer, your responsibility. Uh, if you want to enable monitoring, your responsibility. Whatever topics we discuss, you just implement one by one into your project. Clear? I mean, we already done Grafana Prometheus. Implement Grafana Prometheus. CloudWatch, implement. Like that. So one project, if I'm taking means the project inside, you can install whatever the things we require on top of that. Monitoring, security and all. Okay. So let's connect a front end server first. Okay. I'm connecting a front end server. So total 3 tier is completed or not? One front end, back end, database. Okay. Let's connect a front end server. Sudo su-i. Okay. So first my project is there inside the GitHub. In this case, what I need to do, git to clone. Let's go to the project directory. This is the project directory. Okay. So here, clone the repository, HTTPS. Okay. Now in this project, guys, ignore Jenkins at this time. Now you ignore this one, ignore this one, ignore this one, everything ignore except these two. Back client means here front end. Front end is this one, back end directory is this one. Remaining you can ignore. I mean, this project we implemented containerization also, but at this time you don't know what is containerization. So you can ignore. Directly we can deploy application into server. Later we can deploy into the container like that. Okay. Terraform means, so container means Kubernetes are required. The Kubernetes we can create through Terraform. So these and all you can ignore at this time. This is not your responsibilities at this time. So your focus is only these two directories. Okay. Better I will delete all except the two, rm-rf, Jenkins, Kubernetes, EKS. I'm deleting local only, not in remote repository. Okay. So my end, okay. rm-rf, Terraform and EC2. Okay. If required, you can remove the readme.md file also. Architecture GPGRD also. So my end only there. Client, backend. Clear now? Where should I switch now? I'm in the front end server, right? So go to client. Client here, I'm front end. Clear now? You are inside of front end directory. Okay. So guys, this project, if I click on the client, this is Node.js application. Already you know, right? Package.json, package log.json. So inside, these are the images are there. If you go src, these many files are there. Okay. Index.css with respect to the code. Here, okay. This project, these directories and all developed by developers. Okay. So what you need to do, deploy into the server. In this case, you need to be take care environment process, build process, deploy process. Clear no? Yeah. In this case, even you can ignore this one also. Okay. And very important thing is, when you, if you want to deploy this process, here inside the pages, we have a config.js. Here you need to be give the backend details. Understand? So the front end will communicate to backend based on this configuration.js file. This configuration of JS file will be this configuration of JS file be there in the pages. Inside the pages, config.js. Clear? Now the thing is, I'm giving here what? Backend URL. This backend URL is configured for backend server IP. Understand? For example, at this time, okay, I can give here backend IP also. Okay, I can give backend IP also. For example, if you deploy only front end server now, you don't know backend server. At that time, you don't know backend IP also, right or not? So I'm giving here, you can give local host also if the two applications running inside the same server, or here the meaning is I can create a one Route 53 record. The Route 53 record is vira.narni.co.in. In the Route 53 record, target I can give IP or alias. Understand what I'm trying to say? IP means directly it will be redirected into the same IP. Alias means load balance. Clear? So this is the process. We'll explain one by one, guys. Okay. See here. At this time, I'm giving directly public IP. Clear? Why? Already server is ready for backend. Clear? So where should I give now this? ls cd src ls cd pages ls vi config.js. So here the drawback if I give public IP here, your server may restart. Public IP will change or not? Public IP will change or not? Yes, it will change. So in this case, again you need to become code and again you need to deploy by changing the endpoint. Instead of that, okay, you can change that, you can give directly public IP here or give a Route 53 record here, and inside Route 53 create a record for public IP and the same name, whatever name I have given inside the backend. If public IP will change also, no problem. Simply we can come modify the record only, right or not? For example, if I create a record here, vira.narni.co.in. So this vira.narni.co.in only I'm calling here endpoint. So vira.narni.co.in is endpoint, right? If I give a IP here, this will be redirected to this IP or not? Right? So if I give inside my code vira.narni.co.in, for example, my instance is restarted something, IP is changed. We no need to do anything inside the code, right? Simply go to Route 53, modify the record, change the IP here. Endpoint is same, right? This is same, right? So always front end will be communicated. This endpoint is redirected into modified IP. If it is a load balancer, give a alias. But any case, this vira.nari.co.in is same. Or you can give directly your IP also, backend IP. Backend IP is not a recommended action to give. Better to give load balancer URL or Route 53 record. If you give backend IP, it will work for only single server only. But if you give load balancer, that will be redirecting into any server based on the load. Right or not? Okay, anyway, I'll just keep as is this time. I can change into the records instead of adding the IP here. Okay. Remember that point now. And next, you can start the environment deployment process. So this is Node.js process, right? This is Node.js application. Node.js application deployment process already we discussed, right? Anyway, let's start from the scratch. First, I'm going to be update. Okay. I mean, m update-y command is there, right? apt update-y means Ubuntu server. M update-y is Linux server, Amazon Linux server. So I'm installing Apache here. I will tell you why later. Just understand. So guys, Apache web server, Nginx web server is able to access from external, right, on 80 port number, right or not? All web servers runs on 80 port numbers only. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to be install what? Node.js. This is what? Node.js application, right? Node.js. So Node.js installation process is different for flavor to flavor, right? Yesterday we discussed Amazon Linux. That is different process, but we need to install Node.js. That's it only. How you can install? You can follow any process. Why this is Node.js application? Yeah, correct. You can refer. So okay, done. And next, I'm going to install core package. Core pack is nothing but it's a related to Node.js inbuilt package only. So I'm using npm, right? Npm is what here? Yeah, Node Package Manager. If you want to install any separate packages for Python pip for Node.js npm. So the benefits of core modules. I mean, this is developers will give. This project core pack is required. You need to be installed like that only. If you want to understand what is core pack, just something. Core modules are a built-in libraries that comes with the Node.js runtime only. Okay, the provide essential functionality. The mostly we are using core pack for HTTP request working, handling the multiple files and all. Okay, that is a benefit they are coming. They're using. I'm installing that also. Okay, next enable core pack. I have installed, right? Next, core pack is going to be prepare a what is Yarn here? Yarn is a package manager for JavaScript projects similar to npm. Okay, it helps to develop and manage dependencies, libraries, and packages required for this project. Yarn ensures the fast, reliable, and secure dependency management, making it popular among developers. See, guys, here when you install a Yarn, you will get these benefits in the project. Quick, quick response. So it's similar to npm only, Node Package Manager only. But the Yarn is taking care of the fast, reliable process of your dependency management. Like in npm also we can use, Yarn also will use for the Node.js. So let's active this process also for quick dependencies install process. Activation is done. Okay. Next is what I'm installing what? PM2. What is the use of PM2? Process manager. Yesterday we discussed, right? See, process manager, production grade process manager for Node.js application. It helps to developer run, monitor, manage Node.js application effectively. So PMT is widely used to handling application lifecycle management for production environment. Ensure your application stay always online. Okay, it will automatically, restart also if something is wrong inside. It's a process manager. These are all dependencies for server only. Now your front end server, the configurations of, the configurations of environment and all done. Clear? Now you can clone the code. By the way, I have already cloned the code. Clear or not? And let's clone the code. I have already cloned the code. And inside do these changes. Inside do these changes. You can give public IP of backend or give your domain name. And change inside the domain name records you can add that will be accessible. I'm giving here my domain name. So So in your case, in your project, these dependencies will give by developers only, not you. You don't know, right? The code written by them only, so they know only which dependencies are required. So my end is veera.nare.co.in. Your end also you can keep your domain name. Already you created a domain name, right? Yeah. In your interview, no one can ask what is Node.js, what is Yarn packages, what is NPM package. Even they too don't know. DevOps engineer taking interview time, they may ask how to configure the things, load balancer, auto scaling. These services only they may focus, not on the code. It's not even 0.1% also not your responsibility. Clear? Yeah. But this is important. How front and back end will be communicated is important. Okay. Okay. So now the changes. Okay. Fine. Now step 3. Step 1 is mainly environment installation, install dependencies. Okay. Step 2 is modifying config.js. Step 3 is deploy process. Clear? Yeah. Step 3, run app, right? Let's go to npm build process. I'm going to be run npm install. This command you need to be run inside the front end code only. Understand? So that it will be installed dependencies. First to take 2 public servers and do this. Okay. Later you can focus on high availability and all. Before you can create a load balancer and auto scaling, launch template and all. If you stuck here, no, those will be running the background, right? Okay, npm install is done. So I'm going to be run a build. Build means what? It will create a one package. Okay, it will create a one package only. Build means adding a dependencies and your source code and create a one package format. Okay, and next process is what? Okay, understand very carefully. So here I ran build, right? Build will create directly in this home directory. Here you can see this is the build. If you go inside the build, so these many things created the background to your build process. Build means adding a dependencies and your source code and everything will create like a one package. This build, okay, this build, I'm going to give access. I'm going to copy into where www.html. Why? If you access Apache server, the request directly go to which path? www.html only. Now your build is there in the same path, you are able to access directly. Clear or not? Or we can do one thing also, reverse proxy. You can write a reverse proxy. Okay, this application running on 5000 port, for example, create a Nginx proxy for to access this application. But both are same. But the difference is, let me show you. Copy build into Nginx versus create a Nginx reverse proxy. See the difference? I did this only right now. Or you can do like this also. But what is the difference here? So copy build into Nginx or create Nginx reverse proxy. The difference is this is just static file only front end. It is not going to be redirect second one, third one, fourth one, right? Simply this will work for only this server only. But reverse proxy, we can create a different path when people can access that you can redirect. So that's what, see, forward request to backend API also it will take care. But copy build means only front end. If anyone want to access front end, the copy build option is the Nginx is accessible via www.html by default, right? That will be accessible only. Clear? That is the difference here. Now let's access front end. Let's remove S. Okay. Something is loading, we can see. When I access this, request will go to inside the server and which path? Where www.html path. So my build, I just moved into same path. So when I access, request is redirecting into directly build only, your Node.js build. That's what. Okay. This is the front end page. Okay. This is the front end page. Now, what you need? Database. For example, if I add something here, that will be, we are going to be insert into the database, right? Without writing any query inside the database. User is able to select the something, cart and something. They are going to be shop. They are going to be insert something, right or not? So from the interface, I could able to manage the backend database means end-to-end process will complete. But my end only front end is completed only, right? So here if I take a paint, so front end only completed and database also done. But front end to database in between, back end, we have to be focused here. Understand now? Your request not able to process database. The reason in between back end is required. Some applications directly process to database, WordPress, some different applications. But correct process you can follow like this. Depends on the project, developers and architects will be decided like this. Okay. So my backend also Node.js application only. Let's connect to backend also. Same process, no difference. As backend also Node.js application, but code is different. Code functionalities are different, but even though deploy process is same, right? That's what. Any Node.js application, if you can take, 99.99% process is same. Clear? Okay. let's follow the document. Okay, here try front end, test able to access or not. Okay, for front end. Okay, next backend. Backend also same process. All commands are same, no difference. First update command. If you can see, this is shell script, right? This is Shebang line. If you create a one file and add all into the file, you can run like a script. The file name is, for example, test.sh. You can run sh space test.sh. This will be run automatically. Or you can run manually, run first better. Then later you can move like that also. Same how front end is deployed, same like backend. So I will show you here how the request is travel backend to database, front end to backend also. That level understanding is fine. Installing same command. This project very important. The reason if you are able to complete this project, these commands and all, the coming projects and all, we can see same process. Okay, DevOps also we can do same project. Continuous process only this project. Okay. After that, we can see number of projects. One project on Python, one project on Java also, same process. Okay. Again, you can update if required. If you're stuck in this project, coming classes are very difficult to you to understand. We are manually doing this thing, right? We can easily automate this entire process by using DevOps tools, including architecture also. Core pack. Next, installing PM2. This is for just notepad notes for temporary purpose. We prepared a document end to end. Okay, I will share you that. First do this process. Then I will tell you what you need to do in the coming classes on this project. Okay. Next, clone the repository. Git clone. I need to be clone again, right? Guys, you know what is AMA, right? Amazon Mission Image, you know, right? Yeah. This is front end. So environment, when you are doing installation of environment, not required in the project directory. You can do anywhere. That is, you are doing environment for server inside only, dependencies. So now you clone. These are still, these and all dependencies for server only to run a project, not for code. I mean, my server is able to run a core packs means it will be quickly accessible your dependencies. reliability, fast. So these dependencies I'm giving to my server. So now very important thing is backend, front end will communicate to backend, backend will communicate to database. So in the backend, okay, there is a .env file. The .env file is like this. You can open ls-la. If you can see hidden files, you are able to see. This is hidden file, right? So .env you can see ls-l. Maybe it's not cloned. .env is not cloned. You just open. Okay. Sorry, I'm in the wrong directory actually. I should go to backend. ls. Yeah. So ls-l, ls-la. See, .envs I'm able to see now. Inside the backend, hidden file. This .env contains database details inside the backend. Understand? So inside the backend, database details we have to be add backend block. vi .env. So these are the database details. So let me give my password I have given now is different. I'm just giving here. This is my password I have given now RDS. Guys, and here DB host, what I need to give? This endpoint. Clear or not? This endpoint. Clear now? So your backend inside .env, I'm adding the database details. So in the backend code, while writing a framework, they will call a env every time for credentials of database. Clear? Now you can give like this, or you can do one thing also. Route 53 private hosted zone also we can use in this case. So we haven't discussed Route 53 private hosted zone. I told you at the time of project we'll discuss, right? Focus. Now I'm creating a my end already there. Let me delete and create again. Where's North Virginia? Okay. Let's delete a records. Then delete a hosted zone. Okay. So far we discussed only public hosted zone where we can add a records and all, right? I'm creating a private hosted zone first time. You can give any domain name here. Private hosted zone means internally only routing, not from externally. Understand? Let me show you. Private hosted zone only allow internal routing only, not external routing. External routing, which hosted zone we need to use? Public hosted zone. Internal routing, private hosted zone. You no need to create any domain. Just this domain only for useful internally only, right? You can take google.com also, no problem. Right or not? But the same google.com someone can access, the request is not come here. Go to Google server. Why? It's a public hosted zones. This is private hosted zone. Only to acceptable, only accept the request is comes from here only. Internal only. Clear? Let's go now again. I'm creating a rds.com. Any domain name you can give, no problem. So private hosted zone, see, asking VPC details or not. Internally routing only, not externally. So select which region? US East one, na? North Virginia, I think. Which VPC? Default VPC. The meaning is now the meaning is what? This private hosted zone is able to access when the request is coming from in the same VPC only, not from external. Clear now? Okay. In this case, your backend should be run in the same VPC or not? Yeah. Whatever. I'm creating a record now. You tell me my backend application inside. My backend inside application inside. I have given what here? Book.rds.com. This is record of private hosted zone. Record of private hosted zone. I'm creating a record for private hosted zone. What I need to give here? Book. Clear? You can give any name. This record only you can add into the here. Now book.rds.com is redirecting into RDS, right? So here we can give a CNAME. Alias record is only redirecting into CloudFront only load balancer and not RDS. So in this case, go for CNAME. So now CNAME concept also cover. Private hosted zone concept also covering in the project. So same like CloudFront also will come into the picture in coming days. This project is base for us for understanding. Okay. Yeah. What I need to do here? Database to endpoint. Clear now? If you access book.rds.com, the request is redirecting into this one. That is the meaning here. You may ask why you are creating like this. Can you directly give, right? Yes, directly you can give. But if I add like this, you guys are clear about what is private hosted zone right now. That's what. Clear? Yeah. If I add multiple services, you can understand in the project where we can cover. For example, in interview, if I add directly DB host, for example, in interview I ask, right, what is private hosted zone? Now you are clear, right? By using private hosted zone, we can configure internally routing for to call database endpoints or something different like that. You can say, right? Simple. Okay. Now let's check here. Sorry, this is front end server, back end server. Do I need? I can simply remove this. What I can do now here? Book.rds.com, whatever name you have given. Okay, and very important, how this will be interact. The server and database should be in the same VPC only. Okay, in US North Virginia, I'm using the same VPC for all, right? Same VPC for all. If different VPC means VPC peering is required again. Different region VPC means cross region is required again, right or not? Yeah. Okay. So configuration is done. Second part is what? Configuration is done. Okay, this is just explanation here, what you need to do. Next is what? Deploy process. Same like front end. Front end also first environment process build, then configuration process means config.js. Third is what? Deploy process. Same here also. Let's start the process. I'm going to npm install means what? npm install means what? Dependencies. Okay. Next is what? npm install .env also. .env if you run means .env dependencies will be installed. Even not required. When you run npm install .env also downloaded automatically. Okay. Next process is what? This will be discussed or not already? I'm going to start backend by using PM2. And front end, what I did, move the build into var www.html for directly accessing through IP. This is now online. Your backend is running or not? Backend is running. So you can check even backend response also. I will explain code at the time. You will get a better clarity. Just focus. In one day, it's not possible to explain in everything, right? You will get a clarity day by day, not in same day. Your backend is up and running or not? How to check? This should become response hello means we configured something inside the to understand backend is working or not. Even you can check this command. This is front end. Should be online. Okay. So you can check status also to understand the process whether backend is online or not. Now backend is connected or not database? Backend connected or not to database? Inside backend, we already given database details or not? So backend sync with database. Front end sync with backend. What I need to do now? Front end to backend configurations. What I need to develop? Front end code. What I have given? Front end code. Front end to backend code. Where should I go? Pages. Config.js. narni.code I have given. This is for what? Front end to backend communication. Backend to database communication is .env. Front end to backend communication I have given this record. Did I create any record on this name? Then how front end will communicate it? So what I need to do? Create a record for backend IP for front end communication. So creating a record. So unfortunately, I already my end Vera.narn.coded is redirecting into some load balancer. That load balancer already deleted, but I forget to delete a record. Let's delete these records. Tell me guys now. What I need to create now? A record. This is public hosted zone, not internet routing, right? Front end can access internally or externally also. Okay. For example, front end has to communicate backend internally means we have to be create internal load balancer. Clear? Anyway, I will explain that process also, where we can change the where we can implement the changes. Okay. Let's explain. Wait. Here, what I need to do? Vera. Okay. What I need to point out? If you develop already load balancer, give a load balancer alias, or only one server means give a IP. My end only one server, right? Copy. When you access vera.narni.co.in, if you get a response hello means backend is correct. Front end is able to connect backend also. Clear now? Now front end instead I have given backend record, right? So front end will communicate or not vera.narni.co.in, that is redirect into backend. Clear? Front end, backend, database. Communications are clear now? T2 micro effect, it will take time. Okay. And very important thing, we have to be implementing. That is, now your database skills, whatever we discussed in that RDS class, right? You need to be refresh that, the skill set. First thing is, you have to be connected database. For what? Database instance running, right? RDS means database instance. You have to be connect that, create a one database inside. Inside the database, you can add some existing records. When you add, you are able to see the existing records. That is the agenda here. Okay. Let's focus for 5 minutes. You will get a clarity. Guys, my database, if I want to insert the records, what I can do? Connect the database from SQL Workbench or backend. SQL Workbench, when you are able to connect, RDS is public only. But real-time projects are RDS is private, right? So now communication is done. So till here project is done. But when I access, something need to be checked, right? So in this case, I'm going to be install MySQL server in the backend to connect the RDS. How to connect backend to RDS? How to connect backend to RDS? How to connect server to RDS? MySQL. Next command is what? NAT gateway. Why NAT gateway? How to connect MySQL RDS from the MySQL how to connect the RDS from instance server? Why through Lambda? Why, guys? Guys, don't by heart the concepts, okay? I'm not asking about Lambda. I'm talking about instance. How instance will be communicate to RDS? This is my question. IAM Rola. That is authentication. First, how to enter inside RDS from the server? MySQL -H. H means what? Endpoint, host. Next is what? -U, username. Next is what? -P, password. When you run this command, first is what? Unable to run MySQL command. Why? MySQL is not running in the background. Why backend MySQL is required to execute the MySQL command only? I'm not going to perform anything inside the backend server to store the data, right? In this case, what I need to do first? MySQL server. This is even you can install client also enough. No need to install server level. This will help to run a MySQL commands. What is .SQL? .SQL. We already ran .SQL script for inside the MySQL, right? For what? We already ran .SQL script inside the database for what? Yeah, SQL queries. If I want to create tables, database, something records and all, you can create a one script file, run a script, everything will be created automatically. Right? We already done, I remember. I created already. Anyway, no problem. Now you can, that's what the projects when we discuss now, you can refresh your skill sets and all, right? Yeah, you can brush up your skill set so that now I'm able to run MySQL command, right? But I'm going to connect from here to database. In this case, my own two databases are there. Which database? How do I know? How do I list? By using host name. Host names are unique, right? Host name. Host name means what I can do? What I can give here host name means this one. can I give inside instead of directly host name? Book.rds.com. The CNAME will be redirect, right? Next is what? -u. Next is what? Password. Okay. See password, and if you run test.sql, my end, go to backend. Test.sql script is there. It will be connect RDS, run these many information. I will explain after that what is this information contains. Okay. Clear? So I need to be give a password here. Okay. Now I executed test.sql script. So this is direct command. Or you can do one thing: log in inside, or copy the test.sql script inside, or you can run also MySQL client inside. You can do anything, but this is direct command. So run the MySQL and run the script inside. Okay. Now, how to log in again? This is just interacted and ran, right? To check how to log in, it will ask the password. Clear? How to check the databases? Show databases. So test database. My dot test.sql script is there, right? Inside I have added created database name of test. Created. Next. How to select the database? Use now you are in the test database. How to check the tables? Books table I have created. How to check the records? How many books are there? 2. One is for Game of Thrones, and second is for Firefox. 2 books are there, right? So I have inserted these 2 books through backend. Let's access the application now. Oh, it's shaking, right? What I can do, exit. Let's restart the backend process, okay? Stop the process and again start the process. Backend process. Online right now. Clear? This book's information I stored inside the database before by running a tested SQL. Now I'm able to access from UI. Just to why, if I'm going to add any book, that will be added into the tested database. But before that, you have to be created test database, right? Inside the database. User is not going to be created database, right? User adding records are going to be added to the test database. The test database I created by using .SQL script. And the same test database, I have added this 2 books information to get some UI. Understand? Now you can add anything. You can give book title, for example, multi-cloud. So something you can give, add dollars like this. Add or not? This request will go to where first? This is what front-end UI. Request will go to backend. Backend request will go to database. Let's connect the database and check now how to connect the database again, MySQL. Now, simply use test. Now show. No need to check the show tables. Simply run a query. How many books are there now? 3. I mean, I'm able to add, I'm able to delete from the UI itself only. Clear or not? I'm not running any query here to add a book. That will take care by front end and back end. So what you can understand here, let's open the back end application. So we can focus in this 10 minutes backend application. So backend application, where is my code in the backend? In which file my code contains? Index.js. Very good. Let's try to understand this code. Even we no need to focus 100%. This is not our cup of tea. But again, we can just do something. Okay. So guys, here backend database will communicate based on the API methods. Okay. So we have a multiple APIs. Get API, delete API, update API, something. Okay. Post API, query API. We have a lot of APIs are there. Guys, now you tell me, when I delete this book, which API will work? Delete API. In this case, in your code, delete API should be there. Then only you are able to delete. Add API should be there. Then only you are able to add. Update API should be there. Then only you can able to do. For example, in my backend code, when I delete this, request will go to front end. Front end is redirecting to backend. Delete API action directly. Backend delete API will be delete a book from the database. Clear now? Let's go to understand now code again. So this is my code, right? In this code, when the front end will give based on the user select, it will be called to backend API. Which API it will call? Delete API. Delete API, see here now. Delete from the, this is query, right? Delete from the books. Books means what here? Table. In the table, where ID equal to, which ID it is? Multi-cloud ID. Here we don't know, right? Which book user can add. If I call like this, whatever book name is there, where ID equal to like this means dynamically calling, the name will be deleted automatically. For example, if I add here where ID equal to some test and demo, user should be add the book and the name of demo only, then only it will be deleted. But dynamically calling means whatever book name they have added user, the user select, right? Delete time user will select, right? That book will come here where ID equal to here means. Clear? So delete query is executing or not? Delete query when it will be executed based on the user action. Now you tell me, user is going to be add new book. So I'm giving book title where ID equal to book title now. Understand? I'm giving here something like this. Add. Added, right? So go to the backend code again. Which API it will work? Yeah. Which API? Add API. Add means put. Understand? sorry, post, I think. Both are same only. Yeah. So this will run a query insert books. Insert book means what? Whatever book name they are giving, that will be called automatically. So it will be insert the title, description, price, cover. So my end, if you can see, title, description, price, cover. Right or not? They're adding into the backend. Title, description, price, cover. Whatever value you can give, that will be insert into database. Clear? Yeah. And these information will be stored into where? Books table. Clear now? Yeah. Like that. Delete. For example, if I remove this now from here and again build, am I able to delete a book? Delete API missing means you are unable to delete a book. In this case, now you tell me. Okay. Now you tell me if I click on this, this is which API? Get API. Are you able to delete? Delete API is missing. So unable to delete. Able to add cart means add API. Only 3-4 APIs, the required APIs only, they may be added in the Flipkart background application so that you can check, you can select, you can apply filter, but not delete. If delete API is there, you are able to delete watch from in the database directly. Understand or not? Delete watch from the database means entry will be deleted. Watch is not deleted from the warehouse. Watch will be there in the warehouse. The record will be deleted. Inserting watches into database means not watches, watch item, count. Understand? So like that you can understand, guys. And now, yeah, see here. Correct. Now if you can see, the above code, if you can see, I'm adding these many dependencies. Express, MySQL, course, something, .env and something dependencies for this code, right? Now let's go to understand package.json. See, these are the dependencies, right? The dependencies, we can see MySQL is there, this one is there, this one is there, this one is there. Package.json contains what? Dependencies. These dependencies I have added inside the package.json. When I run npm install, these many downloaded from remote repository to working directory. By using these dependencies, see, from Express, from MySQL, from Course, from Morgan, from .env. Whatever dependencies you install, right? Take a reference from there and I'm writing a code. From means if dependencies are not installed, you will get an error. Module not found, Express module not found. That's what we are installing first, dependencies, then build. Clear the process? Yeah. And now if you can see, I'm calling .env for what? For what? Database connection dependencies. And MySQL for what? MySQL connect dependencies. So I'm using, if you can see, the connection block I'm implementing here. The connection block, I'm calling host, user, password, port, database name is what? Test. That's what, after created database, I connected RDS from the backend, ran a query. The query contains, you can see now. This is query. The query contains what? Yeah, create a database test and use the test and go inside and run this query. Two books information by default is updating, right? The two books information, see, inserting two books information into test database. Clear now? Yeah. This is the process. So after, okay, create database. If not exist test means what? Test is not there means it will create. First query. When I run this query, this will create. Then use the test. Then create a tables with this cover and insert a records in the table. Then only when you access, you are able to see the two books information by default. Clear? In the query, if you add one more book here, you are able to see one more book also. Clear? Yeah. So like that, try to understand even slowly. If I add one more query here, take a one image, the image HTTPS path you can add. See, third book is adding or not while access time. Later you can add from the UI itself only, right? Like that. Clear? Give a try today. Let me know tomorrow. This process everyone knows mentors. Connect with them. If you postpone means it's a it's very difficult to understand coming classes. After 1 week, I'm unable to access means at the time everyone completed, you may not sync with others. The focus is to do this and try to understand the process, whatever I discussed today. I have shared in the group also. And this is the URL of the GitHub. You know how to clone, right? Simply run git clone command. You need to be clone front end and back end also. Once you are able to complete, then I'm going to give a tasks what you need to do next like that only on this project. How to implement metrics, how to implement logs and this project I'm going to give. Okay. What you learned till now, those are going to be implemented on this project. Okay. Peering concept I will give, endpoint concept I will give. Every day one task I'm going to give on this project. You need to be do it. Okay. And what you can do, this project will implement by scaling and load balancer concept. Again, you can delete. The reason the monitoring concepts, if you are going to be add the other concepts, you no need to be run load balancer auto scaling and all, right? Load balancer auto scaling we can enable for high load only. But this is just testing, right? Just you can configure with the scaling concepts. Later you can delete and again you can create it in two public servers and do the practice on this only. Clear what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So that's all for today. Thank you so much. Bye.